Let's bring in Paul Morrow, retired NYPD inspector and Fox News contributor. He has years of experience working in counterterrorism. He ultimately ran all of the NYPD's intelligence cases. Paul, great to have you with us.
Thank you.
So when you watch this news conference and you hear about the men from Tajikistan, you hear about the ISIS affiliates who have sent 400 people across the border, if you were still doing counterintelligence in New York City, what would be concerning you?
All right, well, let's try to advance the story a little bit. First question I would have is, were these 8 Tajiks part of the 400 that you're talking about? Because as he tries to put an air gap between ISIS and the 400, and you can see how he's wordsmithing it, right?
Yes.
He's saying, well, you know, they're not necessarily ISIS-tied, etc. What people don't realize is that terrorist groups need money. There is a profit motive embedded in it. It's like the mafia. They have to make money, but they do it for their operations, not for the profit motive, right? So it's possible that ISIS is just doing some human trafficking here. But think about this now. We have 8 guys who are loose in this country. And here's the nuance. They are being held currently on immigration charges, not on terrorism charges. Now, they picked up something on a wire relative to bombs. I don't know if that's a FISA wire overseas or something, or if it was a domestic wire relative to something criminal. But somebody, it was 3 different field officers, 3 FBI field officers. They had to prematurely say, take them on what we got. Take them on immigration and get them in. We'll see if we can get into the phones. We'll see if we can do a debrief. We'll flip somebody. But that, right now, they don't have terrorism charges, which means they had to take it prematurely. That's an indicator of how much trouble they thought this was, because you don't want to do that, but it gets to be too hard to cover, and you can't risk it. And that also indicates to you the pressure that the federal government, who are doing their job, is under here. You know, we hit the FBI leadership here plenty. That's the people inside the Beltway. But I can tell you, the FBI agents and these field officers, I've done this stuff with them. They're up all hours of the night. Those guys don't make a lot of money. They're not making overtime. There are men and women up all hours, chasing people around, monitoring wires, trying to prevent something from going boom. And ultimately, they had to pull the plug prematurely.
Well, we thank them for those efforts, and they work extraordinarily hard because they want to keep people safe. As you say, the motivation is not money. The motivation is not having another 9/11 or any similar incident here in the United States. This is Mike Morrow, the former CIA director, who wrote a piece on the red flags and blinking lights that he sees going on everywhere. Here's what he had to say about the feedback he got when he put that out there.
I ran into a lot of current intelligence officers and current policymakers after we published the article. The response was almost universal in, we're glad you wrote this, it's really important. I read that as maybe there's a lack of a sense of urgency here.
Okay, so he's speaking carefully, but what really jumps out at the end of that is that he is warning the administration there is a lack of a sense of urgency. And you heard Mayorkas say, oh, the safety and security of the American people is our top priority. That's what we're all about, basically, you know, but you shouldn't be too concerned. We got it all under control. Let's
remember something about Mayorkas. He set the tone for his discourse with this nation very early, right? In 2021, he came out and swore to the just, you know, factually untrue canard that Border Patrol was whipping Haitian migrants as they came over the nation, as the New York Post reported. Mayorkas knew at the time it wasn't true. If he thinks his own people are going to support him now, I know not everything about law enforcement, but I know enough to know when you've lost your agency. As far as the article goes, now, full disclosure, it's two authors on that. One of them is Graham Allison. He was my professor up at Harvard. He's a brilliant guy. You know, you might have some issues with Morrell because he was the one who drove the 51 agents, right, who said this was a fake laptop, it was a Russian operation, et cetera. But that said, I can tell you, I had some experience with him. He knows what he's talking about. These are people who have spent their lives examining this stuff. And I actually interpret that article a little differently. I think that was a subtle shot across the bow to tell the Biden administration, the border, wake up. This border thing is not working. They didn't say that in the article. I read the piece. But I think that's what really is going on there.
Yeah, and here's someone who said it more directly. This came out today from the Special Operations Association of America. They sent out an open letter. These are former SEALs, Green Berets, Rangers, who, as an association, want to make their concerns known based on their own history of all of the work that they do in this area. So they said the risk is compounded by developments in the Middle East, i.e. Hamas, Iran, their proxies, and the porous, unsecured southern border, through which we've seen numerous instances of individuals on terror watch lists and others from adversarial countries attempt to enter the United States. And those are the ones we know about because only they were detected. They only detected 665.
Yeah, two things real quick. First of all, there are a lot of soft assets potentially here if you're looking to do an outside-in attack, because you have all of these kids that are doing the Gaza stuff on the campuses, et cetera, and whether they're witting or not, they can be an assist to you. But let's not remember where the rubber hits the road here. Look at all the crime. We're already getting hit. They're essentially bioweapons. They're sending us their worst of their worst coming into this country. Every day we wake up to a new Biden border monster. You know, I don't talk about it too much. I have a website, opsdesk.org, where we track all of the migrant crime. I have people working with me. We can't keep up. It's underway now. And to me, that's a form of terrorism.
Paul, thank you. What's the name of your?
Opsdesk.org, and we're tracking the migrant crime to the extent that you can.
And then what do you do with that information?
Hopefully people see it and act upon it. You know, I'm just one guy.
Yeah. Paul, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul Morrow. Always good to have you with us.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.